Salute, salute, salute to the troops, guys. Salute to the troops. Salute, salute, salute. Step on to the vibe. This is just gonna be a quick vibe. As y'all can see, your president has went to China and we don't know why. Do you? So let's just peep a few clips to see what happens, guys. Let's get it, let's get it. Salute. I just had to make some quick content for my kick audience. It's gonna be short because we have a women's revival going on tonight. St. Paul AME Church, 405 Church Street. Pastor Frederick L. Jenkins. Let's go, let's go, let's go. But I'm gonna bring y'all a few clips or two on what happened in China because your president has some nuts to be going overseas right now with this war in Iran. So guys, let's take a vibe. Let's get it.
Parade and pageantry greeted President Trump in Beijing.
Let's see what happened in Beijing.
Before he and China's President Xi settled in for closed-door talks, an effort to stabilize relations between the world's superpowers. Xi telling Trump a good China-U.S. relationship is important.
Why is they having closed doors meetings, guys? That is the question. Because they speaking in secrecy. Let's get back to it.
To the world, and Trump touting his friendship with the Chinese leader.
Whenever we had a problem, people don't know. Whenever we had a problem, we worked that out very quickly.
If y'all don't
and
know,
we're going to have a...
We finna find out, though. Let's go, let's go.
Fantastic future together.
But once the doors closed, Xi delivered a stark warning over Taiwan, the self-governing island. Xi claims it is a Chinese territory, making clear this is the most important issue to China. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs saying the countries will have clashes and conflicts if the topic isn't handled properly. But for decades, the U.S. has given Taiwan political and military support to aid in the country's democracy, but stopping short of calling for independence. In an exclusive interview with NBC's Tom Yamas, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says that policy is not changing.
We always respond by saying anything that would compel or force a change in what we have now would be problematic. And we would certainly, our policies on that have not changed.
On Capitol Hill, lawmakers voiced support for Taiwan.
The bottom line is we're committed to their defense. We've told the Chinese do not attack them. I hope that remains clear after President Trump's trip over there.
I think that we have to continue the posture that we have today, and I think any step away from that posture would be a mistake.
The American readout of the meeting did not mention Taiwan, but focused on the war in Iran. China has close ties to Iran and buys much of its oil from them. President Trump tells Fox News Xi is ready to help.
What? Did y'all hear that, guys? So this is about oil. We all should have known this already. Like it is always about the oil when they talking about weapons of mass destruction and any other bull crap. Why is that? Bullies, 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 guys. Pure bullies at its height. Let's get back to it, guys. This is sad.
Help end hostilities.
He would see a deal made.
Let's see what he got to say. Probably nothing smart.
Oh, he did offer. He said, if I can be of any help at all, I would like to be of help.
Would he say that in them closed doors?
Trade is also expected to be a big topic of conversation at these meetings.
Trades? Why are they talking about trades? Let's continue.
A new round of talks will begin tomorrow, but President Donald Trump did tell Fox China is expected to order 200 Boeing aircraft. Melanie
Whoa,
Snona,
there we-
NBC News, Washington.
Y'all see what's going on. This is all a hustle, guys. They trying to barter with airplanes so we can get cheap oil. OMG, they just told on themselves. Smack y'all-self. That's sad, guys. Y'all already know it is always something behind the scenes of these wars. It's usually about some money, some weapons, some oil, some gold, something. It's always something. And I don't know why, guys. What about you? So now let's go to another clip and see if they tell on themselves this time. Let's see what they have to say.
Welcome to the News Hour. President Trump is in Beijing tonight for a state visit to America's chief global competitor and increasingly geopolitical rival.
Economic foe of the U.S. while cultivating a relationship with its President Xi Jinping.
Give me 1 second, guys. My bad. Oh, so they don't want to make the full screen, huh? Typical.
The most powerful Chinese leader
let's
since
just
Mao
pay
Zedong.
attention real
As Nick
quick.
Schifrin
Y'all see
reports
what
from
pages
Beijing, a
it's
host
on?
of global issues are on the table.
Tonight, for the first time
They
in nearly
finna go
a decade,
sell
an
Air
American
Force
president
One, huh?
landed in China. Onto a red carpet and into a synchronized ceremony by seeking stability. But President Trump also arrives to China confident and hosting an embattled American president
Is he gonna
at
sell
war
the
with the
presidential
Chinese
limo too?
Iran survived 5 weeks of war and now maintains a chokehold over the Strait of Hormuz, through which 20% of the world's oil and natural gas usually flows. To help open the strait and make a diplomatic deal, a senior U.S. official said that President Trump will, quote, pressure Xi Jinping to exert his influence over Iran. Beijing hosted Iran's foreign minister just last week and buys 90% of Iran's oil. But a separate senior U.S. official told PBS NewsHour it's unlikely that Xi Jinping will use leverage over Iran, a point shared by President Biden's Assistant Secretary of Defense for Asia, Eli Ratner.
Even though China does have major stakes, it's going to maintain an arm's length distance so not to get sucked in.
Trying to bully them for the oil.
China could benefit from the U.S. fighting a Middle East war with no obvious end.
So
but China is also the world's largest consumer of oil transported through the strait.
Certainly to China's
benefit. So y'all hear that? So we gonna bully them out of the oil and sell it to China at a cheaper price. That is the trick, guys. They is hustling and bullying and confiscating the oil. Let's get back to them telling on themselves, guys, and he called this fake media. Lies.
To see the United States stuck in yet another quagmire in the Middle East, losing
Quagmire, and he looks like Quagmire, don't he?
Strength and
the orange
using
Quagmire
military power on the other side of the world. But the fact is that the energy crisis and the economic crisis emerging from the Strait of Hormuz has major implications for China.
Trying to take
Taiwan
over that
holds even
straightway.
greater implications. The Trump administration recently authorized the largest weapons sale ever to Taiwan and has teed up an even larger sale.
Y'all hear that? They selling the weapons to
Well, I'm
other
going to have that
people to
discussion
fight.
with President Xi. President Xi would like us not to, and I'll have that discussion.
That statement, despite 40 years of U.S. assurance to Taiwan, it will not consult the People's Republic of China on arms sales.
Why not?
That is not
Y'all
something
been doing it.
the United States should do. We should not be in the business of negotiating Taiwan arms packages with Beijing, and we should not be viewing America's relationship with Taiwan as somehow a part of the U.S.-China relationship.
China also wants the
There
U.S.
you
to
go.
change
We shouldn't, but
diplomatic
we are.
language set in 1998
Well, they are.
by President Clinton during trip to Shanghai.
We don't support independence for Taiwan.
China wants President Trump to
Why
be more
y'all don't
declarative,
support
to say,
somebody
quote,
else's
"We oppose independence for Taiwan."
Make that make sense, guys. We gonna pause that. Do you think we should be controlling if a country is independent or not? Oh no, they want them under the U.S. Let's go, guys. Let's go. New World Order, if you didn't know. Back to the show.
Taiwan question is the very core of China's core interests.
And y'all see they translating what he say. Probably ain't even saying what they saying.
And the bedrock of the political foundation of China-U.S. relations.
China's Taiwan asks have sparked a letter from 8 bipartisan senators this week declaring to President Trump, "You can make clear to Beijing that as you seek to level the economic playing field, American support for Taiwan is not up for negotiation."
Why not?
Well, there are some concerns that Trump may say things that undermine the U.S. policy toward Taiwan. What is actually most important is, again, what the United States does after. Does Trump, after this visit, return to the business of supporting Taiwan diplomatically and supporting Taiwan's defense and resilience?
Beyond the national security issues, much of the focus of this trip and deliverables from the summit are economic. President Trump arrives here with a delegation of prominent CEOs. The U.S. and China are discussing extending their trade truce, and they're considering launching a board of trade and investment alongside Chinese purchases of American products.
Wow.
That includes Boeing jets and agriculture, including American beef and American pork. Despite bipartisan concern, Chinese investments could pose.
So, they're raising the price on us so they can make a profit in another country, though. That part. If y'all got all these Boeings to be selling, why Spirit went out of business? Didn't think about that, Yes, they are making us poor while making them rich. That is the key of the U.S. of the A. Don't play. All business, no pleasure. Back to it.
Those national security threats, President Trump recently said the U.S. is open for business.
Y'all heard that? Open for business during the war, because they are using the war for business. Let's get it.
If they want to come in and build a plant and hire you and hire your friends and your neighbors, that's great. I love that. Let China come in.
That provides.
Now he's inviting them into USA to take over our jobs.
Its military and nuclear forces, it has withstood President Trump's tariffs and found its own leverage. China restricted the export of rare earths and rare earth magnets that the world needs for everything from electric vehicles to fighter jets.
Y'all
The United States is going to need those export controls lifted. Outside of China, very little supply currently exists for many of these materials and magnets.
Gracelyn Boscarin is a mineral economist at the Center for Strategic International Studies. She says as part of last year's trade truce, China agreed to lift export restrictions, but it hasn't followed through.
Quite recently, a number of aerospace manufacturing companies here in the U.S. raised the alarm that if imports from China don't increase, they may have to pause manufacturing. So even though the formal restrictions are on pause, the imports have not resumed to the levels that we'd like.
The U.S. has its own leverage. It restricts the export of the most advanced computer chips that China needs for AI. And the U.S. could re-raise tariffs as the Chinese economy faces headwinds.
So, I hope y'all have stock investments in NVIDIA that controls the AI technology. That's the company that produces AI technology. So, pay attention, guys. Pay attention. This is all for business. and business is not going good. Continue.
But the Chinese feel confident, as I discussed today with Henry Wong.
Why y'all think they feel confident? So what's more important? Minerals or AI technology? Let's pay attention.
The president of the Beijing think tank, Center for China and Globalization.
This 2026 summit is so different with 2017 summit because at that time, China was not near peer status, and then China's GDP has gone up almost 7% of the U.S., and China became a leading power on the green transition. So
who is benefiting the most, USA or China?
Achieved counter capability with the U.S. So as I said, there's a mutual assured deterrence now. So we have to really find a way to work together.
China does have leverage over Iran.
Why are we trying to walk with China?
If President Trump asks, or no, is it
COVID? COVID came from China. These viruses come from China, allegedly. All this is all allegedly, except for what y'all watching. Apologize. So, guys, y'all wonder why y'all haven't heard about this $3 trillion gold dome that has been signed into law. They ain't said nothing else about it. You know why? Because we got to get it from China, you guys. You got it. You got it. You got it. And guess what? They are trading for a gold dome and AI technology. So let's go, Holmes. See right through the fake media, as your president would say. Let's continue.
We're interested in seeing this war continue.
No, I think it's...
Who's interested in continuation of this war? Let's listen.
All in the Chinese interest to see this war continue. China was, passively brought into this war, this kind of mediating process. China would certainly like to do more, but also depends how well U.S. treat China. If U.S. treat China as a friend, as equal partner, as a workable partner, then they should give China some respect and should maybe look after China's core interests as well.
Core interest meaning Taiwan?
Yes, I think China is very concerned about Taiwan being supported by U.S. for the separatist and independent tendency. So that is really, I think, important that our friends in the U.S. has to understand. So I think, selling weapons to Taiwan, Trump is a businessman, he may want to pursue that. But I think, China's certainly against that. I mean, no matter what kind of weapon system Taiwan may have, it's compared with mainland, it's peanuts.
But how much is China willing to actually do when it comes to Iran? When the U.S. sanctions so-called teapot refineries that buy some of the Iranian oil, Beijing told the refineries not to listen to the U.S. sanctions, to oppose the sanctions. I mean, it seems to me that Beijing has resisted U.S. attempts to try and use its leverage over Iran.
Yeah, that's true. I think, gone are the days that the long arms jurisdiction like the U.S. is act as an international law.
Exactly.
China is big enough
national bullies,
follow the U.S.
allegedly.
What does Beijing want to achieve at this summit?
To assure the global community, okay, the two largest economy, two strongest leaders are meeting in Beijing. We cannot change each other, but then we can probably find a way to coexist peacefully. We need to work together as the two biggest country.
That's why they send these viruses.
And tomorrow's media will help determine whether the U.S. and China embrace collaboration over confrontation. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Nick Schifrin.
And there you have it, guys. There you have it. They told you out of their own mouth. It's over minerals and technology, guys. Working together. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. And they trying to bully their way through it, allegedly. And y'all know we gotta say allegedly when we speaking about the government, because they say this is fake media when it's their media telling on them. They're telling on themselves. What? But I had to bring y'all that, guys. So we gonna end this with a vibe. Salute, salute, salute. Kick.com/ExoticLyfestylezLLC. Please like, share, and subscribe. Check us out on YouTube, Exotic Lifestyle 615, spelled just like that, you guys. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Please pay attention to what's going on with this war in Iran. They ain't said nothing about Iran. They only speaking about what they can get, man. And we gonna end it like that. Shame, ashamed, ashamed. And we gonna end the live stream like that. Salute, kick, salute to the troops. We is out with XoCEO. Had to do a quick video.